We will chant from Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtham. The latter part on this page 2, which is also page 10. Narayanam Padmabhuvam Vasishtham Shaktim cha tatputraparasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govindayogindramataasya Shishyam Shri Shankaracharya Mathasya Padmapadam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tantotakam Vartikakaramanyaan Asmadgurun Santatamānatosmi Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagum Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vai Sharanamaham Prapadye Ashubhani Nirachaste Tanoti Shubha Santatim Smriti Matrena Yat Pumsam Tanmangalam Param Ati Kalyana Rupatvat Nitya Kalyana Samshrayat Smartrunam Varadatvacha Brahma Tanmangalam Viduhu Omkarascha Shabdascha Dvavetau Brahmanah Pura Kantham Bhitva Viniryatau Tasman Mangalika Ubhau Om Atha Om Atha Om Atha. Looks like you have not had breakfast from the chanting. So the rest of the chants, which we normally do in class, I want, yeah. I see. Okay. Yeah, there is some problem. I don't know what, but it sounded like the most, what is that? The most obvious explanation, I thought, because what went before this was breakfast. Huh? You had a good breakfast? Good. Let me hear it now. Shruti Smriti Purananam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhāṣya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll chant from Tathapi, 3 lines from the bottom of the first paragraph. Tathapi Anyonyosmin Anyonyatmakatam Anyonyadharmamscha Adhyasya Itaretara Avivekena Atyanta Viviktayoho Dharma Dharminoho Mithyagnana Nimittaha Satyanrite Mithuni Kritya Ahamidam Mama Idam Iti Naisargikoyam Lokavyavaharaha Yeah. Yeah, now I hear it. That's good. So, we have seen some of this. We have seen the Dharmi Adhyasa and the Dharma Adhyasa. And we have looked at all of this in quite a bit of detail, because you see, the beginning is very important because it sets up the stage for the rest of the arguments. And so I'm spending some time on it. After this, it will go a little faster, I hope. So, so now, he says first there is a very brilliant setup. And what is that setup? Adhyasa doesn't exist. Because really speaking, it cannot and does not exist. And that's how jnanam is possible, that's how moksha is possible, that's how anything is possible. Adhyasa cannot exist because look at one entity, which is what? Satya Atma, that Atma which is the only thing that is there, and then all the other entities which are as though manifestations of that Atma itself. How can one be confused for the other? Already it's a projection. The whole Jagat is a projection of the Atma, and then how can one be confused for the other? It is not. And so Adhyasa is not possible, meaning what? It can be removed. So even though it's not really possible to exist, Naisargiko ayam loka vyavaharaha. Naisargika means it has been there without beginning. And I'll get into that later. But it's already there. We have to confront it, we have to deal with it, because even though it's not possible, it is happening. It is happening. And the manner in which it happens is talked about very nicely. And what are the what are the ways in which it happens? It happens in particular ways where the attribute of one thing is mistaken for another thing. Dharma Adhyasa is superimposed on another thing. Or one thing in its entirety is mistaken for another thing. Correct? And what is that called? Dharmi Adhyasa. Very good. So like this, lot of, this mistake is there. And it is there, this mistake, one more thing about Adhyasa we have to recognize is that the mistake has to be established either, by the Shruti or by logic. Because it is Anubhava Siddha. So that, like for example, fire is hot, the Veda doesn't have to come and tell. You don't need a special means of knowledge for that which is directly understood. Either through the pramanas, the means of knowledge that one has at one's behest, or through sakshi pratyaksha, through, through witnessing something, or through one's daily experiences, whatever it be. So this adhyasa is not established by the Shruti. Why? It need not be established by the Shruti. Why? All you need is one head, that's all. A head that tries to get ahead of itself, and there you have adhyasa. Seeing things that are elsewhere and, all kinds of mistakes. All you need is one buddhi, enough to make a whole lot of mistakes. And those mistakes are experienced. Those mistakes in the everyday life are corrected, like rope, snake, shell and mother of pearl, or, those are the same things. Mother of pearl and silver. Those mistakes are made, those mistakes are repeatedly corrected. So there is no need for adhyasa to be established by the Shastra, because it is already, established through one's own daily experience. Neither do you need other schools of thoughts like Nayayika, Vaisheshika, the logicians, all these people, because it's not established by logic. In fact, it operates illogically. Why do I see this when it's not there? That it's not a product of logic. There is no reason, it's irrational, but it is there. Then, what is the reason why Adi Shankara does this Adhyasa Siddhi here? Because, because he is introducing the need for Vedanta Shastra. He's not trying to establish Adhyasa. He's trying to show that even though it's not possible, it is there. That's why he says, Naisargiko ayam. Naisargika means the most natural thing in the world is to make errors from, the first day that one is, from the moment of birth till the last moment. That's the most natural thing, is this error. And so he's not establishing the error, he's establishing the possibility of error, because then the possibility of its correction, as a possibility of correction, as the only way of redemption from this adhyasa, which is the cause for samsara, which is the cause of fear and sorrow, that Vedanta Shastra becomes validated. So now there is an adhikari. What is an adhikari? A qualified person who is there. Who is the qualified person? The one that is subject to mistakes, missed takes. And then what? And that person, some mistakes don't cause suffering. You mistake one person for the other on the road. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else. You go on, it doesn't cause suffering. But many mistakes do. I'm a samsari, I'm an idiot, I don't love myself, nobody loves me. These are all mistakes that cause problems. So therefore, the adhikari is the one with a lot of problems as a result of coming under the spate or the spell of adhyasa number 1. And so therefore, we need a topic, Vishaya, and that Vishaya is Vedanta Shastra, which is going to remove the adhyasa, that is the prayojana. That is the prayojana means the purpose, the use. Why does Vedanta Shastra exist? So Vishaya Siddhi, that there is this adhyasa is there and it needs to be removed because it causes problem. Adhikari is there, Adhikari Siddhi. Because the person who keeps on, and it's going to tell very soon, aham idam, mama idam, the one who keeps on parading everywhere, saying, I am as good, I am this much alone, I am not any more than this, I am only so much, so sad. So, aham idam, mama idam, iti. So this one, that's the one who is the adhikari, whose vision of division needs to be corrected. Then, so we have adhikari, we have, the vishaya, the subject matter, and then we have prayojana, the purpose, and then most importantly, the sambandha. And what is the sambandha? The connection between the removal of adhyasa and the study of shastra. That is why he is going to do this. So, pratipadya sambandha, that the shastra is not for practice. First I learn how to remove the adhyasa and then I go home and apply those methods. This is not some kind of a stain removal, some difficult stain. And you go on YouTube, your favorite shirt has this terrible stain and you don't know what to do, Then you go on YouTube, grape juice, how to remove. And then they'll give 10 other, or on the internet, they'll give 10 other things, 10 things. And then you say, oh, this is very dark grape juice. I'm going to try all the 10 methods at once. And then what? The stain goes away, taking a part of the shirt along with it. Yeah. This is what happens. So this is not like some kind of a stain removal, that you go home and practice. In fact, the study of the Shastra itself removes adhyasa, which is and this is very important, we have seen this already. I'm summing what has gone and what is going to come at the same time. So this adhyasa is ajnanam with a twist. That also we have seen. Even though the two Adi Shankara uses synonymously, so the adhyasa here is nothing but self-ignorance, but the same self-ignorance which does not cause any harm, samsarically speaking, does not cause problems for so many other beings, jivas. Like who? Yeah, cat, dog, etc. The cat doesn't have a problem. I'm so catatonic. I think I need to do something about it. I think I should have a cat scan and find out what is wrong. It doesn't do all that. It's fine being what it is. Yeah, it's fine being what it is. Whole day it will lie there. Yeah. And then, you're envious of your own cat because you think, I wish I could sleep like that. But that's what it is. So this is the Vastu Agrahanam does not cause any problems, as we have seen in the Jiva Rashis, in the people, in all the Jivas, in the form of animals, trees, etc. No problem at all. Where is the problem? They seem to be, as long as they are not abused or maltreated, they seem to be who they are, happy being who they are. But that same ajnanam manifesting in the human mind, in the human jiva's mind, turns into adhyasa. Yeah. Like a milk that curdles, that's how it is under certain circumstances. So the human buddhi is a, fertile ground for adhyasa. Only the human buddhi, no other buddhi. Because the human buddhi is free enough, totally self-aware, uninhibited self-awareness is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because I can pursue this knowledge. It's a curse because I have the problem of self-criticism, self-judgment. So what to do now? And therefore, this is what is called, this portion of this paragraph, we still have to do one more line, but this whole paragraph is called Adhyāsa Bhāṣya and Akshepa Samadhanam. So Adhyāsa Akshepa and Akshepa Samadhana Bhāṣya. What does it mean in English? So this portion of the Bhāṣya is called that which establishes the impossibility of Adhyasa. And also, what does it do? It gives the possibility of Adhyasa as well, which is a mistake and an error, and it gives the samadhanam, the resolution of this error. So Adhyasa Akshepa Bhāṣya, and then the last 3-4 lines, Akshepa Samadhanam. Meaning, even though Adhyasa, erroneous perception, should not be possible, Atma cannot be mistaken for Anatma. Even in dream, what to talk about in the waking state, still one's experience all the time, constant experience, is that of this mix-up, this wrong combination, this mix-up, and therefore this needs to be corrected. So if this much is understood, we can go further in the text. So, avivekena here means because of ajnanam. Up till that we have seen. So then, because of ajnanam, what does the person do? Atyanta viviktayoho dharma dharminoho. And this mithya jnana nimittaha we'll see later. Atyanta viviktayoho dharma dharminoho satyanrite mithuni kritya ahamidam mama idamiti naisargikoyam loka vyavaharaha. So then he points out that the dharma, the attributes, which belong to, all attributes belong to what is called this cognition. And what does that mean? Anything that I can objectify is naturally endowed with attributes. Attributes includes parts, correct? So many parts are there. Up, down, on this side, that side, extremities, limbs, so many things. So when we say, dharma, here dharma means objects of this cognition. Objects of this cognition means anything that I can objectify with the 5 sense organs and with other helpful pramanas based on the pratyaksha 5 sense organs. So that is called dharma. And who is the dharmi? Dharmi is the one that is the quote unquote product, as though product of I cognition. I am the dharmi, correct? I am the one, and then all the others are what? This cognition. And so what does the dharmi and the dharma, don't get confused. Here, don't go into dharmi adhyasa and dharma adhyasa. That was then, this is now. And here, we have to just see the dharma as this cognition and dharmi as I cognition. This is a contextual understanding. So dharma dharminoho, between the attributes and the observer of the attributes, even though they are atyanta viviktaha means totally separated, totally distinct. Atyanta viviktayoho, dharma dharminoho, then what? Even though they are different, what happens? Satyanrite mithuni kritya. So there is some mithuni karanam taking place. Mithuni karanam means a mix-up, a combining, a marriage. Mithuni karanam. Mithuni karanam of what? Satyam. And what is Satyam? I, Atma. Satyam means the only source of existence. We have seen this already in the introduction. The only source of existence, that which is all sentient and that which never comes to an end, aham, I. And anritam here doesn't means false, means mithya as we know it, anirvachaniya. That which cannot be categorically said to be false, non-existent, that which cannot be categorically affirmed as existent. So what do Satyam and Mithya have in common? What do they have in common? Huh? Nothing. That's the correct answer. Here we can say nothing. Yeah. Even though we are not Shunyavadis, we can here safely say nothing. There's nothing in common with the Satyam, with the Satya Atma, and then what? Mithya, everything else. So there cannot be any marriage for that reason, because there is nothing in common, number one. Like in the ancient times, whenever a marriage was announced in the church, they would say, if anybody has any objections, please come. Something is wrong with the bride, something is wrong with the groom is, already married somewhere else in some other village, all these things. So they would say, please raise your objections in the next 1 or 2 weeks, and then and after that it's too late. Raise your objections why this marriage should not take place. And here the objections are too many. This Mithuni Karanam, this wedding of Satyam and Mithya, and living unhappily ever after, there are too many reasons why this wedding should not and absolutely cannot take place. First of all, there are, a marriage or any kind of a combining or a mix-up or a coming together is between two entities having the same order of reality. What is Atma? Satyam. Satyam means what? Paramarthikataya. It is absolute. So it's that order of reality which alone is. There is nothing other than that. And what is mithya? Vyavaharika satta. So it's like marrying someone you saw in a dream. Yeah. How is that possible? So the dream girl or dream man that you saw in the dream, that one you're seriously preparing for a marriage. Not possible, So that is one reason this is not possible, because they don't occupy the same order of reality. The second reason why they don't, this is not possible is because one is existent, the other is a dependent existence, a projection. And the example that is given here in the Shastra, in the Brahmasutra itself, somewhere later on, is the person going out with their shadow, taking a walk with their shadow on the river. And then what happens? The shadow happens to fall on the water. And then they say, "Ayyo, it will catch a cold, I hear it sneezing. Where is a towel for the shadow?" This again is silly. So these are all the reasons why this Mithunikaranam cannot take place. But Adi Shankara says that it does take place. It does take place, and the cause that is given here for it to take place is mithya jnana nimittaha. Even though it is completely viviktaha, viviktaha means separate, mithya jnana nimittaha. Nimittaha means the cause. The cause of this combination, this unholy, non-sacred combination of Satyam and Mithya, and this mix-up, and then therefore the person coming into the unhappy conclusion, I am a samsari, I am subject to fear, sorrow, etc., is because of what? Because of this word here, Mithya Jnana Nimittam. So, it's very tempting to resolve this compound as mithya cha jnanam jnanam nimittam yasya tat, mithya jnana nimittam. Meaning what? It is mithya. Mithya here means false, okay, in this rendition. In this particular resolving, or this particular way of resolving the compound, mithya here is false. Wrong knowledge, false knowledge, jnanam, knowledge. So the false knowledge is the cause of which? Which what? Adhyāsa. This is very tempting, okay? This particular rendition does not gel well for our purposes. Because, think which is the cause of what? Adhyāsa. What is Adhyāsa? Already that was also of what? Adhyāsa. What is Adhyāsa? Already that was also false knowledge. So we have some kind of a funny thing, Putrasya karanam putraha. Like saying, what is the cause of this child? The child itself. How can you say that? So this is a funny circular argument that the cause of Adhyāsa, which can be translated easily as false knowledge, erroneous knowledge, is what? Erroneous knowledge. This makes no sense. Therefore, very helpfully we have a kind of a partial commentary to the Brahmasutra by Adi Shankara's own student, Padmapada. And there is a big story about it. I'm not going to go into it, but, he wrote a entry which later got the name Panchapadika, because only 5 sutras are commented on. What happened to the rest of the treatise is anyone's guess. Maybe it became goat food, because it's written in the form of leaves, correct? Written on top of palm leaves, palm leaf manufactured. Ajabhakshitam. Or maybe he never did, although that's hard to understand. But anyhow, from whatever survives, it's a brilliant commentary, and then he gives an alternative rendition of this compound, and he makes a wonderful case for this rendition of the compound. Mithya cha jnanam cha. See, there is a mithya, that is already there. Mithya cha ajnanam cha mithya jnanam, mithya plus ajnanam, mithya jnanam yasya nimittaha saha. So, here mithya doesn't mean false. Mithya means anirvachaniya, that which is a dependent reality. So, this mithya along with ajnanam. So what happens? When ajnanam and mithya go together, then there is what is called not just agrahanam, not grasping of one's nature, but anyathagrahanam, grasping of what is there. Because as you know, the I is self-evident, but don't ask the next question, who am I, what am I? Because then the I joins whatever is there, mistaking the dependent reality to be itself. Mithya jnana nimittaha. Because of this, not just false knowledge is the cause of adhyasa, but non-understanding of mithya, what we call the self-ignorance, is the cause of adhyasa, even though they are used synonymously, very brilliantly. He comes, very, very smoothly, with great clarity and precision. So the ajna, not knowing, is the cause of wrong projection, erroneous understanding, erroneous understanding of everything, starting with, of course, oneself. Mithya jnana nimittaha. So then, then what? Satya te mithuni kritya. And therefore, the person cooks a khichdi. Yeah. Sitting in one place, the khichdi of what? Satya, that which is there, and then that which is the truth, which is I cognition, that which is understood by the pratiti, I cognition, asmat pratiti, along with what? Yushmat pratiti, yushmat pratyaya, or idam pratyaya vishaya. So the subject matter of I cognition, namely oneself, cooks up some kind of an alliance or mixes up with the anritam, which is mithya, which is the dependent reality, which is just a projection. So you see, here also, in the word, see, this two things I want to point out. One is a kind of a grammatical thing, which is what, mithuni kritya, mithuni karanam. There is a particular pratyaya, a suffix called chvi, funny suffix. There is no residue of this, suffix at all. Cha goes away, chutu, and then e goes away. Because of what? There is some other indicatory letter. Upadeshe aj anunasika, it, indicatory letter. So what is left? Va. And then there is one sutra, the va also goes away. Apriktasya vehe lopaha. So that also goes away. And then what is left? Nothing. But it does its job. Because there is one more sutra, asya chvau, and then that chvau adesha hai, e adesha hai. So there is one substitute, that wherever there is chvi, put e, but it's not the e in chvi, okay? It's some other e, yeah. So the chvi is kind of very interesting suffix, because without being there, it does what it's supposed to do. And if you really ask what is it supposed to do, it's supposed to make something that is not there happen. That is what is mithuni karanam. As though, combining the two, that is impossible to combine. Mithuni karanam. Very interesting. And so, the chvi pratyaya is, abhutasya bhavaha. Abhutasya bhavaha. That's not in the sutra, but it's in the explanation. Abhuta means that which is not possible, that which is not there. Bhavaha, it shows the presence of things that are not there, just like itself. So it demonstrates itself in this particular operation. because it's really not there, but it has showed up. So here also, Mithunikaranam means artificially combining, even though it is not possible, to combine, as though combining the Satyam and Anritam. It's important he uses the word Satyam. Otherwise the Atma will be taken as one more ingredient and Anatma is one more ingredient, and then both of them become Mithya. So therefore he uses this so that there is no possibility of any kind of error. So Satyanrite Mithuni Kritya, then what happens? It leads to, the khichdi leads to some kind of to two kinds of problems. Because of this Mithunikaranam, one comes to two kinds of conclusions. These conclusions are examples of various kinds of adhyasa. Aham idam. And our starting premise was what? Aham can never become idam, correct? But here, what does the person conclude? I am this body, and that this is variable. I am invariable. So the invariable, because of this, funny mithya and ajnanam, because of not knowing, not having a sound understanding of what is, and because of self-ignorance. So the I joins the variable objects of the universe, which are referred to by the word this. So I cognition, that is automatic, self-evident, self-lit, self-existent, identifies itself mistakenly with the products of this cognition. And those products of this cognition are what? The products of this cognition are, dependent upon the I to be cognized. This body. How do you know there is a body? Because I see it. I feel it. I experience, sometimes the digestive processes. I experience the heart beating. Then one experiences a headache. All these things. So the body is experienced in various ways. Plus, it is an object of sight. It is an object of so many things, so many ways of knowing. But yet, I am this. So the impossible is accomplished because of ajnanam and anyatha jnanam adhyasa. Aham idam. This is tadatmya adhyasa. Yeah, that's why I didn't talk about it yesterday in the satsang. Tadatmya means identification. Adhyasa, error. Erroneous identification. Aham idam. And that idam keeps getting replaced, as I said. The aham is invariable, so the aham keeps joining the idam. Now, in all these kinds of adhyasas we have been studying, don't get confused because they are not watertight. As we saw in dharma and dharmi adhyasa, sometimes there is more than one operating. So this is one classic example of tadatmya adhyasa, and the other one, for example, other example of tadatmya adhyasa, like a blue pot. You see, the blueness which is a color, which has nothing to do with pot, has gone and joined the pot. So you identify the pot with the words blue pot. Another example of tadatmya adhyasa through identifying as something. And in blue pot, it cannot create problems, but here aham idam creates problems. Then the next thing that is pointed out is mama idam. Aham idam, this is me. This is me. Why me? Sad me. And then mama idam. Mama idam means what? This is mine. So the whole world is divided into two, I have told you. What is the division? Mine, not yet mine. Yeah. Soon to be mine. Yeah. This is how you divide the whole, the person, the jiva divides the universe. Mine, not yet mine. So what is this? This is mine. Don't touch it. That's also mine. Don't touch it. Mine, mine, mine. So, for example, nobody says, me house, correct? What do they say? Come to my house. But of course, somewhere there is that me house is also there. But it's not expressed. Generally, it is expressed as my house. So I go to somebody's house and I say, oh, what a nice house, wonderful house. The house doesn't say thank you. The owner says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Same thing I have experienced. When I go for a walk, I see the dog walking the owner. Usually that's how the case, because that's the one going in the front. Nice dog, nice puppy. Thank you, thank you. The puppy doesn't say thank you. Then closer still. Nice t-shirt you're wearing. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. The compliment was not for the person, but for the shirt. So this is samsarga adhyasa, the erroneous, the erroneous cognition because of some contact. And I gave you the stock example yesterday. What is that? Yes. Are you sleepy? No, that I don't want that right now. So then we have, the crystal. Now everyone is convinced, what is it? Orange. Then you can put some white paper behind it, it looks white. You put it in front of the mic, to me at least, it looks black. So like this, it takes on the coloration of everything it is in contact with. But really speaking, it's neither black nor white nor orange. So therefore, this is how the expression, this is Adi Shankara at his best. He doesn't go into all these details, tadatmya adhyasa, samsarga adhyasa. He keeps it on the same level at which it is operating, as though it is speaking directly to you. And this makes a lot of sense. When he says, aham idam, the one expression of adhyasa, a common expression of erroneous cognition, I am this much alone, I am this. And I am this is also covers, I am not this. I'm not the whole. Both are cause for problems. I am this, I am not this. Then what? This is mine and this is not mine or not yet mine. This is also a problem. Because when you say mine, there is a kind of a sense of belonging, and that connection between connection is one of ownership, a possessive connection between the person who claims this ownership and the object that is claimed as the ownership. There is a big problem, because again here is the mithunikaranam, the wrong combination of satya and anrita, the infinite I, in connection to the finite object. And so this is mine, and this is also, a wrong conclusion, a wrong understanding. So this is tadatmya adhyasa ahamidam, samsarga adhyasa mama idam iti, naisargiko ayam loka vyavaharaha. So this mithya jnana nimittaha goes with loka vyavaharaha. So this wrong conditioning, first of all this ajnanam, and second of all this wrong conditioning, are both what? Common to everyone. Loka vyavaharaha. So vyavahara means what? Vyavahara means not just transaction. If you look in the, what is that? Yaskas, Nirukta. Vyavahara has many meanings. Vyavahara is abhidanam, talking about it, articulating it. Vyavaharam is kriya, action, arthakriya, action. Then Vyavahara is also Upadanam, any kind of give and take. Upadanam is also Vyavahara. So Vyavahara has many meanings. One more meaning is there. Vyavahara is also Jnanam. So here Bhashyakara uses the Vyavahara not just as in the colloquial sense of transactions in the empirical world, but he uses the knowledge of the I becoming this and everything, or the this becoming mine, that so one operates from that knowledge, wrong knowledge. So the jnanam, then upadanam, this becomes the, what is that? This becomes the basis, the nimitta, the hetu, the cause for all the upadanam, give and take in the world. This is also the abhidhanam, this is also verbally expressed. Keep off grass. Why? It is my grass. Correct? Private property, no trespassing. This is also Vyavahara. Yeah. This is called Abhidhanam, articulating it. So, see, these words, the word choices are just so perfect. So, how is Adhyāsa expressed? It is first expressed, it first expresses inwardly as wrong knowledge, and that wrong knowledge becomes the basis of give and take in the universe, second meaning. And then it also is verbally articulated. That which is verbally articulated is Vyavahara, third meaning. And the final meaning, which we all know and love, what is that? Transactions. And meaning behavior. Arthakriya here means the behavior of the person is in keeping with what one knows. So from the meaning number 1 to meaning number 4, all the 4 meanings of the word Vyavahara brilliantly covered. Fantastic. Really, really nice. And and then we have to see Naisargikaha. Naisargikaha means you cannot trace the beginning. Nisarga means nature. Naisargikaha, Nisarge bhavaha, or Nisarge bhavam, Naisargikam, you can say. So that, which is natural. Natural means it has been there forever and ever and ever. This brings us to a whole discussion, which I'm going to go a little faster because this is something you already know and you have encountered, in other, even a little bit in the introduction and also in other contexts. Because the word Naisargika is here for Nirasanam, to remove any kind of a question. When did Adhyāsa start? Grandmother's time, great-great-great-great-grandmother's time. Adhyāsa does not have a beginning. Why? Because Ajnanam doesn't have a beginning. But why not say, why are you always, you Vedantins have so many rules. This is my problem. All these rules. The Ajnanam should not have a beginning. And what is this? Why not just be accommodated? Has a beginning. Ajnanam starts. Well, are you sure you want to go here? I want to say Ajnanam has a beginning. Okay, let's go there. Let's go here and see what happens. You will not like the outcome, I assure you. If Ajnanam has a beginning, then naturally, Vedantins, we are very curious as Vedantins. We want to know what was there before Ajnanam. Huh? You can't say green grass, What was there before Ajnanam? Jnanam, naturally. Because Bhashyakara has already, right at the outset, has said that the, Jnanam and Ajnanam. Jnanam is what? I cognition. The proper I cognition, the correct cognition of I is Jnanam. And the wrong cognition is what? Ajnanam. Bhashyakara has said that it is like tamaha and prakasha. Light, darkness and light. Ajnanam darkness, jnanam light. So here itself is a clue about the connection between jnanam and ajnanam. you know, the negative particle, nanj pratyaya in ajnanam has many, many meanings. 4 to be precise. And what are those Alparthe, abhavarthe, anyarthe. One in the middle of a ritual. And the Pandit says, Abrahmanam anaya. We have to give dakshina not just to the Brahmanas, but anybody but a Brahmana, because that's what the ritual says. So please bring anyone but a Brahmana, anyarthe, other than. That is also a negative particle, indicated by the negative particle. Finally, virodharthe, opposed to. And even though it's tempting to look at ajnanam as abhava, jnana abhava, lack of knowledge or absence of knowledge, that's not correct. Because it leads us into some very, very difficult situations from which we are not able to explain ourselves. We can't come out of those situations because it's like a vyuha, kind of a formation, like a, militaristic formation designed to trap. So if you use abhavarthe here, if you say knowledge is, absence of ignorance is equal to knowledge, then we are buying into a situation where moksha is not possible at all. So therefore, by the word naisargika, he wants to convey the anaditvam of ajnanam. It has no beginning. Ayyo, then that means it has no end. No, thankfully it has an end. But how something without a beginning can have an end? It can have. Let it remain a mystery. Yeah, that's enough for us. So, naisargiko ayam loka includes the adhyasa, akshepa and samadhana. Now the next paragraph, the subtitle for the next paragraph is Adhyāsa Lakshana Bhāṣya. The definition of in two ways by Bhāṣyakara, but the two definitions come different points, and here we are only going to take one definition, which is the most accepted definition amongst all philosophers. So let us read. Aha koyam adhyaso nameti uchyate smriti rupaha paratra purvadrishta avabhasaha tam kechit anyatra अन्यधर्म अध्यासः इति वदन्ति केचित्तु यत्र यदध्यासः तत् विवेक अग्रह निबन्धनभ्रमः इति अन्ये तु यत्र यदध्यासः तस्यैव विपरीतधर्मत्व कल्पनाम् आचक्षते सर्वथापि तु अन्यस्य अन्यधर्म अवभासताम् न व्यभिचरति तथा च लोके अनुभवः शुक्तिका हि रजतवत् अवभासते एकः चन्द्रः Sadvitiyavat iti. Yeah. Here also, aha. Aha means someone said. Yeah. Who said? Another Purva Pakshi. Who else is there? Or the same Purva Pakshi who was defeated, in the first paragraph and can't sit quietly for too long, raised his head and said, aha. All right, all right. You have gone, you have just used some word trickery and done this big Adhyāsa Siddhi and then Vedanta Shastra Siddhi, Moksha Siddhi, all this. We understand you have many Siddhis. Okay, so now explain to me, Koyam Adhyaso Nama. What on earth is this Adhyasa? After all this discussion, hasn't understood. Yeah, it's like that student in the Keno Upanishad. We don't know what he or she was doing the whole time. The whole Upanishad is given in its entirety beautifully. Yeah, nedidam yadidam upasate tadeva brahmatva tvam vidhi. No Brahman to be that which powers the ear, blesses the eyes, blesses the sense of touch, because of which the mind is mind, because of which all the sense organs and the mind function. Know that to be you, know that to be Brahman, not that which you place on an altar and worship, whatever that might be. Not the Nama Rupa, but that which powers the Nama Rupa. Beautifully it's explained. The student raises the hand. Upanishadam bho bruhi. Oh, revered sir, please teach me the Upanishad. And this is how we learn how to teach, from the Upanishad herself. And there the teacher in the Upanishad, very compassionately says, Ukta te Upanishad. Oh, dear one, I have already taught you the whole Upanishad. Doesn't say, what on earth were you doing? Where were you? No. Has a lot of patience and compassion. And doesn't want to make obviously the student is a mumukshu, a jignasu, doesn't want to make the person feel bad. And, says, Brahmim vavate Upanishad vakshyamaha. We will teach you some kind of a nice thing about Brahman. And then he launches into a story and launches into some sadhana, because obviously the student needs some sadhana for antahkarana shuddhi, to clean off, the ragadveshas, so that one can understand what is taught. So the non-understanding is not a problem. And Adi Shankara is very well aware that there even after this elaborate first paragraph, the word Adhyasa itself, will be very hazily understood. So he brings in a Purva Pakshi because he doesn't want the students to feel bad about asking another question again about Adhyasa. So he brings the annoying Purva Pakshi back and so the Purva Pakshi, aha, and what did he or she aha? Koyam Adhyaso Nama iti. What on earth is this thing called Adhyasa? That is what a Purva Pakshi asks, So, and what is the answer? We'll find out in another hour or so. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Is 11 o'clock good? Can I see you at 11? Yeah? Okay. Meet me at 11. And who else wanted to see me? After lunch.